Hello guys and welcome to session 3 of the Jenkins tutorial. Today we'll see how do you configure your job so that it runs periodically on some schedule basis. So it may be running, you want to build the job on say every hour or maybe every 3 hours or maybe every 6 hours or maybe even a midnight build. So you can do that by configuring your job in Jenkins. So we'll see how to do that. For that, we'll go into the job. So in your dashboard, you can see I'll click on the first job, which was the first freestyle simple job that we created in last sessions. In that, you can see that the last two builds have succeeded. So we'll configure the job by clicking on configure, and we'll go down to the section called build triggers. So in the build triggers section, you can see we have three options. What we want to do is we want to trigger the build periodically. So I'll check the build periodically. So here you need to specify the schedule, how you want to trigger the build in a given format, for which will take help of this question mark over here. So I'll click on the question mark, which will pop up a menu, or you can say a dialog that will tell you how exactly can you type in the schedule so that it triggers accordingly. So you can see that this field follows the syntax of cron tab. So we'll do something similar the way we used to configure uh, the schedule in a cron tab job. So similar, we'll do it over here. You can go through this document and find out different ways of configuring. We'll go to the example over here. So we want to trigger the build every 15 minutes. So how do you do that? You have to specify. The first option is for the minute, the next is for hour, then the the day of month, the month, and the day of the week. So star specifies that all the valid values. So it means, so if I, for example, over here, this means that run it every 15 minutes, and the next thing is star 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 star, which means for all valid values, which means that run it every hour, for every day of the month, and for every month of the year, and for every day of the week. So you can change this that maybe I don't want to run it for every day of the week. I might be needing to run it only for say the weekdays. So I can specify that. So if I specify, you can specify the values from 0 to 7. So I can say 5. So it will run for the first 5 days. Accordingly, I can state the months in which I want to run, which can be 1 to 12, and the day of the months. So example, maybe you want to run only on the first 10 days, so I can specify the day of the month over here. Or maybe I want to run it only on say the 15th of every month, so I can specify the date as 15th over here. So the day of the month will be 15, and which hour you want to execute the build, so that can also be specified. And within that hour, you can tell it on which minute you want to execute it. So what I'll do is, we for now we'll keep it simple. So we'll say that uh, trigger the build on every 15 minutes. So we'll copy this. I'll copy this and I'll click on the question mark again so that the menu goes away. So here I will paste that. So this is my schedule, but this is going to take too long. For the tutorial purpose, what I'll do is I'll keep it trigger every 2 minutes so that we can actually see it quickly as and when the build is triggered. So I'll let it be right now as this, and I'll apply and I'll save it. Okay. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll wait for 2 minutes and see if the trigger is, the build is triggered automatically after 2 minutes. So let's wait for 2 minutes now. So as you can see that the build number 9 was triggered automatically and it has succeeded. So we'll go into the console output and see. Okay, so it verifies that yes, the build was successful and it got triggered automatically. So you see that the last build was triggered 26 seconds ago. And what we'll do now is we'll wait for another 2 minutes so that we see another build getting triggered within 2 minutes. So let's wait for that. You guys don't need to wait for 2 minutes. I'll just pause the video over here so that I skip the time. So what I've done over here is I have clicked on the enable auto refresh so that the Jenkins page gets refreshed by itself and we come to know whether a build is triggered or not. So we'll wait over here. We'll keep an eye on the build history to see whether the build has been triggered. As you can see that build number 10 was triggered and it completed successfully, showing the blue ball. So blue ball signifies success. So that was also done. So the build was triggered without me clicking on the build now. That was actually triggered by Jenkins based on the schedule we specified. So you can go ahead and change the schedule according to your needs and get going with Jenkins. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next session where we'll explore more about Jenkins.